I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the southeast from state to state? What team hungry gon' eat everything up off they plate? Who the next one that's really gon' step up and be great? Yeah, the FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah, part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button. Comment, subscribe, all that. The fanatic. Yeah.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by a sports fan. It's your boy Coach I, where all my dogs at. That's right. We're back in here for another episode of the Fanatic Football Live, presented by the Johnson Development Group and the Tailgate Kings. What's going on, fellas? What's going on down there, CA? Fresh off that Florida butt kicking.
Can't be any happier. You know, we got the dogs holding down the catbird seat. We got the college football playoff rankings released. Florida just got embarrassed. I couldn't be happier. Braves won. You know, we got a lot of momentum, but really it's all about the dogs right now.
That's right. I had to wear my Brave stuff to represent tonight, but you're right. It is all about the dogs. What's going on down there, Cool Cow?
Oh man, feeling good like everybody else in the A, man. The Braves won, brought a championship back, man. So I'm hoping these dogs can catch that championship fever, man. Keep it going.
I'm with you. The dogs did come out number 1 in the CFP, so that's a little something. What's going on over there, JB?
Hey man, as the fella said, and first of all, let me just shout all y'all out, man. Hate I couldn't be here last week. Y'all had a tremendous show. Extremely proud. And just kind of looking and thinking about the dogs, man. They just did their thing this weekend. Handle business. Braves did their thing. Shout out to them, putting it on for the city. We just are ready for some exciting sports action, and we want the dogs to continue.
That's right. And shout out to our fellas missing in action tonight. Shout out Parker, C-Rob, and E-Rob that couldn't be with us tonight, but the show must go on. When your number is called, you got to step up. Next man up, as they say in Athens.
Man up.
You know what I'm saying?
Next man up.
You know what I mean? So we're going to touch on that Florida. It was a beatdown of sorts. And then we're going to touch on the CFP and then get into a little bit of Mizzou coming in. And how
did we introduce Cool Cal yet? Wait a minute. I feel like we left my guy out now. Talk to me, Cal.
Cool Cal got his introduction in.
Hey, what you over there? What you over there sipping on, man?
I ain't paying attention, man.
Hey, the other producer in his ear giving them updates on the show.
Hey man,
get me right.
If you don't want the producer all on stage in your show,
come on over to the
dancing all in the videos.
You know what I'm saying? Cutting you off when you're trying to talk.
Better watch out, baby. Bad ain't here, baby. I want to drive too.
All right, man. We're coming off a good win down there at the cocktail party, man. My man JV was down there in person, witnessed that defense make some unbelievable plays to get us the lead before halftime, which we held on for the rest of the game, man. 34-7. Ending score, man. I don't know if I could be happier other than having a goose egg. How you felt about that win, Cool Cal?
It was a great win, man. The defense, they came out there, dominated. Obviously, that's the strength of the team. you know, we were going against a new quarterback. And I think once we kind of figure out what he wanted to do and we kind of settled in that second quarter, it was lights out. You know, they weren't able to do anything. We pretty much shut it down after that. That second quarter, the end of that sequence at the end of, you know, coming up on the halftime, you know, it's probably one of the best sequences that I think defensively, as far as we got turnovers, which I've been talking about a lot. And I think the defense from that point on, they shut Florida out and they were pretty much a non-factor the rest of the night.
That's right. We did say that in our mid-season grades that the one thing, if we could find something on that defense, was to get more turnovers. And they must have watched this show because they did 3 like in one quarter. It's like, how about that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So after a 34-7 in person, you got to witness it, JV. How was it down there at the cocktail party? How was the atmosphere, dog?
Yeah, first of all, the atmosphere was extremely electric. I mean, it was people everywhere. You were in the midst of something special. Every time you turned a corner and you saw another person with a Georgia shirt, Georgia jersey hat on, it was just go Dogs to the extreme. And just being able to sit there and watch these guys in person, man, there's something about watching them on television, but seeing these guys in action live, the speed at which they were moving, man, it was like a voracious attack on these cats, and they actually had no chance. Me and my son, we went to the concession stand right before halftime, and it scored 14 points while we were on our way to the concession stand. Like, it was amazing. I was extremely pumped up about it. I was extremely proud. It was just a wonderful atmosphere. Everybody was geeked to the max. Man, it was just I was just extremely, extremely happy to be there and proud of my dogs.
That's right, man. Like I say, man, we ended with that 34-7 win with that last touchdown by Zeus, ripping off about a 35-yarder. In that game, CA, was there anything that you saw that you wasn't pleased with?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was definitely a lot that I saw that I would like to see the Dogs focus on as far as getting better. The offensive production just wasn't there, especially early. You know, offense was the beneficiary of that suffocating defense. The offense had an opportunity to capitalize on a lot of the turnovers, and they did a good job in doing so as the half closed out. But when you look at Georgia's offensive production in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, you know, aside from Zamir's big breakaway run, I don't see any fear that this offense is going to instill in anybody still just yet. Now, we are effective. We are efficient. Stetson Bennett had a lot of good plays, but he also had 2 horrible plays. Yeah. And I want to make sure to highlight that because E-Rob wanted to make sure we get that out there. You know, let's let it be known and be clear about it. But there were a lot of things that were positive. The offensive line, I think there still needs to be some work done there. I think the rotation is settled, but I didn't see any dominance. So that's going to be something that we'll take a look at. We need to figure out on offense who we really are, and we're going to have to stick to that. We made a comment earlier in the season. I know Thad has always mentioned that we should try to be careful as to not use the defense as a crutch, you know, play to the strength of the defense and rely on them to do things like what they did at the end of the first half. But at this point, you know, at 8-0, we are who we are. And I think we got to focus on, it's almost bad coaching to not play to that strength. Being efficient is what we are. And I think we just got to stick to the script at this point. You know, we want to see a lot of different things, but the offense still shows me a lot to be desired.
Last week, man, I agree with a lot of that you said. Last week, we talked about Todd Grantham being the weak point of Florida. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, fellas, Florida's defense didn't play that bad because outside of Zamir's last run, they held us to 6 points offensively is what I want to say. I know we scored 2 touchdowns after those turnovers, but I mean, the first fumble, we was on the 11-yard line. James Cook ran it in. I mean, technically the offense scored, but I credit that to the defense. Stetson did throw a hell of a pass to Jevaris Jackson, but that was also as a result of a turnover the defense gave us in plus territory. So, you know, outside of that, you know, Grantham pretty much held his own. And I think, like Cory said, we didn't look great on the offensive line when we was trying to run the ball. JV, your tight ends, man, they didn't really get a chance. I'm not gonna say they didn't play good, but they didn't really get a chance to get off like that. One of those interceptions that Stetson did throw, he was trying to force it to John Fitzpatrick. What did you see out of the tight ends, and why we might not have been able to use them, like we wanted to?
Well, when CA was giving his commentary, the first thing I was thinking was, I don't think that Florida's defense is that bad. Those guys have some notable players on that side of the ball. They have some guys that are kind of studdish on that side of the ball. So I think their defense was kind of what we needed to see. Their offense wouldn't allow us to be in jeopardy though. And I don't think our offensive line was able to, true enough, dominate those guys, but they had some players on that other side of the ball, man. Just watching them, they have size, they have speed. Those guys are tenacious and kind of mean too. Now, with that also being said, I was disappointed just by some of the decision making that was going on at the quarterback position. Period. Mm-hmm. Those two plays CA mentioned, they were terrible plays. They were terrible balls that were thrown, and had it been a game that was tighter in nature, I feel like, those kind of turnovers could be detrimental, because we literally were on the, if not half midfield point on our side of the field, and he threw the ball away. I think that was some of the things that Thad was talking about, going back to Stetson, some of the things he was talking about when we were possibly going up against better competition. And so, the tight ends, no, they didn't get off. I don't think this was a tight end game. Sometimes you have games where, they play a bigger part in it and in the victory. This wasn't one of those games. This was one of those games where they had to block. They had to hold up the point of attack. They had to hold up the edge. And they did that effectively, but catching balls, it just wasn't their day.
Yeah. And what we mentioned earlier, man, our defense definitely made the day for us like they do a lot of times. But back to something, Cal, you pointed out in the, I want to say last show, one of the most important stats is the score. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up beating 34 to 7. But they actually outgained us. You know what I'm saying? We had like 355 yards. They had like 384. So it's not like they wasn't able to move the ball. We're fortunate that we had a defense that can make some unbelievable plays and put us in good position. But what do you think was going on? Because Damian Pierce had 9 rushes for like 60-something yards. Basically, he was averaging like 6 yards a carry. What did you see out of that defense that we need to, kind of tighten up as we go on forward, even though you take out those 3, crazy good plays that got us ahead?
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I think one of the biggest factors besides, our defense was, I think Dan Mullen, I think he did a terrible job. I really think we got to thank Dan Mullen, because when I think back on that game, it was a 3-0 game when he went for it on 4th and 13, which I thought was one of the dumbest coaching calls I've ever seen. Yep. I don't understand why you go for 4th and 13, especially against the #1 defense in the country. So I think from that point on, I think that fired us up, especially that defense, because after that, the defense started creating the turnovers. I felt it was very disrespectful what he did. And when he went out there, I think he lost Florida, because I think Florida came to play, especially defensively. Yeah. They were going toe-to-toe with us. And I think that his poor coaching really helped us out in that game. And that goes back to what, we were saying offensively, what CA was saying. Our offense was scary, and it was scary bad.
It was.
It was tough to watch. And another thing that you brought up earlier in the season too, Coach, Podlesny, again, another missed easy field goal.
Well, I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't either. He's missing a lot of those, 35, those chip shots. And I think that can be something that can be a concern once we start to get into tighter ball games.
And that's true, man. And, a lot of times we allude to on down the line, as we saw, we already clinched the East. So we know we playing in the SEC championship. So we know we will be playing. What's crazy is the West is wild and wacky. There's technically, numerically, 5 teams still alive over in the West. It's Alabama and Auburn with 1 loss in the SEC, Good shot, Jay. Good call, JV, at the beginning of the season. I was definitely going to shout you out.
I give it to you. Good call.
Good call.
give it to you.
And conversely, definitely a bad call on the Mizzou coming in second on the East.
Coach, we gonna get you, Coach.
We're gonna leave that alone too.
Coach.
Don't worry, it's coming.
But outside of Alabama and Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M numerically still have shots to get there. So we know we'll be playing one of them. But it's like Cal said, Dan Mullen actually did it's probably the worst I've seen him in-game coach in a long time. Not just the 4th and 13. When we got the first 2 turns, we went up 17-0. And then he did, instead of coming out and trying to kneel and say, okay, let me take my lumps and get into the halftime, he tries to be aggressive and throw the ball. And it's like, bro, don't do that. Like, you should have took your lumps and just went in, regrouped at halftime, and came out. But instead, you tried to get aggressive. Anthony Richardson obviously was frazzled. Throws another pick 6, and now it's 24-0. So a lot of that, like I said, we made some good plays, but a lot of that was bad coaching on Dan Mullen's part. To the Pi Leslie thing, I don't know if his girl broke up with him at the beginning of the season. With kickers, listen, man, physically the dude can hit any field goal we need. We saw that all last year. I was pleasantly surprised last year that he was so accurate coming off of Rodrigo, because Rodrigo was really accurate. But this year, starting in the Clemson game, and then I think in the Auburn game he missed one, then another game he missed. I'm like, he can hit them when we got a comfortable lead. But anytime early in the game, when the pressure is on, like we need points, he kind of fold, man, and I don't like that.
That's scary. That's scary because we know at some point we're going to have 3-point game or 4-point game, and those field goals are going to be detrimental.
Exactly, and I don't know what to say we do the rest of the regular season on how we try to implement JT, into the offense, because it's obvious that down the line we will need JT. I don't know how Kirby. I mean, that's not an easy thing for Kirby. We talk about it all the time, but it's not like it's easy to say, all right, Stetson, you sit, JT, you in. I know it's not that easy, but at some point we have to implement him. How do y'all like JV and CA, like from a practice standpoint? How is that, like, when you need this guy, you're gonna need him 2 or 3 games in the future? How is it that you can go about implementing that without waiting for Stetson to absolutely blow up in the game and then put him in? Because I don't think that's the best course of action to do that. CA, you go ahead.
I think that's our biggest fear. I think that's what a lot of the conversation has been about all year and all season. How can we develop the chemistry needed with JT under center, with all these wide receivers not available, and getting accustomed to the blocking from the line and the play calling the Todd Monken. So it's a delicate situation. I would love to see JT increase his workload. Right now, we've got 3 opponents in front of us that don't look scary. We got Charleston, Southern, Georgia Tech, and Tennessee. It is what it is, and we've got goals way beyond them. We got to take them seriously, but if we want to get a true look at what the potential is in the passing game, we really need to roll it out. I think this is the time. I agree more and more with Thad's position as far as, I don't want it to be the first time, but it may very well be. We might not get a good look at it until we face Alabama and are forced in that situation. So I would love to see our quarterbacks go ahead and start to split some time, because the problem is, the defense is so solid, but the offense has left the door open, especially at the quarterback position. So Stetson hasn't earned the spot as far as, what he showed me last week didn't make me feel 100%. I'm open to looking at JT. I'm open to seeing what he's looking like throwing the ball. Can he complete some passes down the field, threaten the defense, open up the passing game, and get my offense more room to run the ball? So I don't know exactly how Kirby might go about it, but I anticipate practice is going to be very important, because that's the first look. It's better to get a look against that #1 defense than to get a look against Missouri. So I think he can get a good barometer in practice, but of course, nothing like Saturday in the fall to actually execute. So I'm anxious to see what angle Kirby and Todd Monken take with JT Daniels, because the snaps and the reps are important. Stetson has shown that he's effective, but he's also left the door open. So, we got to use these 3 games and make sure we get a clear picture on who Georgia is going into the SEC championship and moving forward.
To CA's point, man, like what I told somebody this past Saturday when Stetson threw the second interception is, I don't want to see JT have to come in because Stetson blew up in the middle of a game, because it might be too late at that point. I want JT to be called a starter or work his way in when we're up by a lot. And like CA said, we need to take these opponents serious coming up, but let's be realistic. If we handle business like we should be up enough by halftime or third quarter. JV, what you think about working, kind of how you get the backups in, but don't take everybody out, working JT in, like, I'm saying, let Stetson do his thing, I don't know, first quarter and a half, and then let JT play so he can get some of these reps.
In reality, on Saturday, I thought that JT probably should have got some work into the offense, at least during that second half. I mean, we were up. We were handling the team. We were handling Florida without any issues and problems. I think the defense would have been able to make up for maybe any rust or any mistakes that he may have made. So I thought that would have been a good barometer just to get him in, because they were a really good defense. Yeah. And being able to get that look in live action against a defense like that, to me, is worth his weight in gold. Let's see if he was 100% cleared and ready to rock and roll. Let's kind of see what he can go out there and do. And I think that was a missed opportunity. To CA's point, I really think that the door was left open by Bennett. He did that to himself. And at the end of the day, if you are the starting quarterback for a national championship contending team, you can't make those throws. You cannot make those throws. Now, I'm torn because I love what he gives us with his legs, right? He gives us that, okay, I'm gonna steal these 6, 10, 15 yards because the play might have broke down, or I turn the wrong way on a handoff and still gain 8 yards on a scramble. You get me? Yeah. JT isn't gonna give you that. He ain't gonna give you none of that. No. But what I feel like he will give us is a quicker mechanism for decision making. I think he'll also not make those throws that Bennett made. And so with that, I think everybody said it before, we're going to need JT. And I need to see what JT can give us. And I think the coaches need to see that. So use these next games as, a scheduled rotational period for both quarterbacks. Don't make it a secret. Put it out there. Let both of them know, hey, listen, this is why we got to do this, because we're trying to win a ship. Everybody's going to understand that. And, at the end of the day, if you got hurt feelings, you just got hurt feelings. But we're trying to get past something that's a little bit more than somebody's feelings. We're trying to get a national championship.
I think that's what, those of us on here who said that we need to see JT have been alluding to. It's like, yes, we all know that we can win with this defense. We can win the regular season with Stetson. But as I think I referred to before the Clemson game or after, like in 2018, Dabo knew that he could get to the playoffs with Kelly Bryant, but he knew he couldn't beat Alabama with Kelly Bryant. He took the Texas A&M game to really implement Trevor, even though Trevor didn't even come out and play that great. He had some good throws, but overall, Kelly Bryant had to come back in and save the day. But then the very next game, I think against Pitt, he ended up starting Trevor. You know what I'm saying? And from there on, Trevor was able to increase against lesser competition, which is what I'm feeling like, kind of needs to happen here. So, I mean, going forward, Cal, what you think? You think just let Stetson build us a lead and then get JT in, or just go in and say, look, you getting 3, you getting 3. You getting 3 series, you getting 3
series. No. My feeling has been the same throughout this whole process. If JT is healthy, he's out there practicing because we're evaluating him in practice to see what he's doing. Yep. If he's out there, he can make the throws, he can make the plays, he can execute offense. I don't think there's any question he should be the starter. Okay. I don't know about working him in and doing all those things, because one thing that I do know about Stetson Bennett is when we have to play somewhat even competition, he's nowhere near up to par as far as handling even talent on the other side. And I think that's been proven. We played Florida last year. He had big problems. We played Bama last year. He had issues in those games. So when the talent is somewhat the same, I just don't think we're going to be able to win a national championship. If JT has come back, he's cleared, he looks good in practice, I think he needs to go back in there as a starter, maybe let him take some lumps. These next 4 games, we're not playing any world beaters out there. We can overcome some mistakes. I mean, Stetson made some mistakes last game, and we still won by 27. So I think that we can deal with a couple of mistakes, but I just don't think we're going to be able to get where we need to go with Stetson.
I want to jump in right here. I want to jump in if you don't mind, Coach.
Go ahead.
Because it's really, I feel like it's a lot of my opinion as far as Stetson. Me feeling like Stetson is good enough for us to at least win the national title because of what we got around Stetson. I always say the 21 around Stetson, I'll take that against anybody else's 21. It's week to week. I'm a week to week guy. I don't like a lot of what I saw out of Stetson on Saturday. And that has changed my perspective. Because again, as I've always said, I go week to week and that leads me into the next week. And that's why, I'm more along the lines of where Thad has been, because I needed to see Stetson play against equal competition. Because my thing is, I do feel like a player can get better. And Stetson has been great. He's up for Davey O'Brien. He's been really good up until this last game. And those 2 interceptions, in a crucial situation can be backbreakers. And I don't want to have to take that chance if we don't have to. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. And I'm going to co-sign what Cal said. When I initially spoke, I know I mentioned 50-50 because I want JT to get some of those reps. I wouldn't be mad at him starting any of these games because it is about time for us to get an opportunity to see, what it really looks like. What I don't want is for us to pop up in the SEC championship and JT's under center and we got George Pickens out wide, Blaylock and Burton, and it's their first time hitting the field. Let's see if we can give it a look before we get there because now is the time. Not 2 weeks ago, not last week, but in my personal opinion, now is the time.
Yeah, and just to cap this off before we move on to the CFP rankings, man, one of the things that I'm always mad at interceptions, don't get me wrong, but like what I was mad at his interceptions was the defense didn't have to make a play on the ball. He threw it right to the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Nakobe made a play on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Trayvon Walker made a heroic Superman type dive to tip the ball up, and then Nolan called it to make a play on the ball. Both times he threw the interception. That's what I was afraid of, like y'all alluded to when we faced like talent, because even though Florida has a 4-4 record, don't get it twisted. They ain't got all the 5-stars, but they got athletes out there. And, the Alabamas, the A&Ms, the Ohio States, those guys have athletes out there. And they may do a better coaching job than Dan Mullen do if we face them and not give us the breaks that he gave us, because he did give us some breaks. But all in all, we won 34-7, came out, first CFP rankings came out, number 1 as expected. I don't think they had any questions about that. Alabama was number 2, fellas. Now, I'm assuming that a lot of their reputation had something to do with that because they was a 1-loss team in front of at least 4 other undefeated teams. How you feel about that, Cool Cal?
Let me tell you, man, this college football thing, listen, we number 1, we should be. There's really no need to even discuss that at this point. I don't understand why Cincinnati doesn't get some love. That's the problem that I have with the rankings, man. And one big reason why too is they played us super tough last year. Super tough. I think if Stetson played in that, if Stetson played in that game, I don't think we would have won that game last year, to be honest with you. They're undefeated this year. They beat a Notre Dame team. So it's like no matter what they do, the college football committee is going to keep them on the outside. And I think that sucks. I think that they deserve an opportunity. But I like where Michigan State is if we're talking about the rest of it. I think Michigan State at this point should probably be number 2 for the teams that they beat and how they look so far. And who's number 3? Who else did we have?
Well, they had Alabama at 2, they had Michigan State at 3, and they had Oregon at 4.
At 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
okay
with you.
with that.
I think the Cincinnati thing, I think the committee has been, of course, they've been watching games week to week. But JB, what you think about this? I think the committee was watching, and it's almost like they was waiting for Cincinnati to give them a reason to keep them out of the top 4. So when they struggled against Navy and they struggled against Tulane, they was like, "Yep, see, you ain't as good as we thought you was. You struggled against one win teams. You think that's what they was doing, JB?"
100%. I mean, if you look at the history of these panels, they give extreme credit to the Power 5 schools, and namely, really, the Power 3 conferences. We're talking about the SEC, ACC, and then the Big Ten. Alabama being at number 2, man, look, it's one. I think it's 100% going to be based on reputation. Not that they don't have a great team over there, but you can't tell me that their reputation don't have them sitting in that catbird seat when you have a Michigan State, which Cal just brought up. I think they should be number 2. They beat a Michigan team. They've been winning games handily. They've looked great. And I think that squad, I don't know if they're going to be able to beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you still have to give them the credit. The credit is due. They undefeated. And you're going to continue to see this kind of stuff happen, man. The season going to kind of shake itself out a little bit more as we kind of get down that stretch run. So you're not going to have as many undefeated teams. Yeah. But with that being said, I do think that the Alabama's benefiting from their reputation, definitely when it comes to the ranking.
And you said, I think one of you or Cal said it's like really, I think you said really the Power 3. They always give credit to the SEC. They give credit to the Big Ten, and it used to be the Big 12 or the ACC, but they kind of disrespected both of those conferences. I mean, Oklahoma was number 8 CA, and Wake Forest, who plays in the same division as Clemson, undefeated. If Clemson was undefeated with that same schedule, would they be number 9 CA?
No, we all know.
Even if even if Clemson had one loss, that loss to us, it'd probably be like number 5.
I'm like, you can say Wake Forest ain't played nobody, CA, but it's the same exact schedule that Clemson has to play, right?
No, you're exactly right, Coach. I mean, pedigree, history, how you recruit, those all seem to play into it, and that's unfortunate for teams like Cincinnati. But I'll be honest with you, I ain't worried about it. That's on them. I'm worried about what happens between the hedges down in Athens. I can't be concerned about everybody else's plight because it was tough enough for me to get here. You know, we begged for the playoff because we wanted Georgia to be included in the 4. This is why. You know, so I'm not here to go to bat for Cincinnati or anybody else's institution. Really don't care. When I saw us pop up at the top, that was all I was worried about because that means we control our own destiny. That means what's in front of me is still available to me. I don't really know who we're going to play yet. I got to get there first. You know, I still got a lot of business to handle. You know, we got a lot of offense to get together. I need my defense to remain healthy. So the college football playoff scenario is always going to be in flux. You know, they're going to change the number of teams, you know, who's hot and who's not. I can't concern myself with that. I know I got to put my squad in the best position. And when we get there, we got to show up and show out. So, you know, whether it's Cincinnati or Alabama, you know, Georgia's going to have to play. And so I don't really care. You know, I was just looking to see if we were rated number 1, but I don't care about the other slots because we get a chance to go on the grass and figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
Those top 4 slots went to Nick Saban and or his disciples. Nick Saban still owning the playoffs.
Shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nick Saban,
Nick the man. But I mean, us being number 1 probably is the biggest no-brainer out there right now. There's no argument that you can make against us being number 1.
Yeah, I think that was
unanimously also.
That was the easiest decision. I think they walked into the room yesterday morning and was like, all right, Georgia's number 1. Let's figure out the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But who's 2, 3, 4? Yeah, that's exactly.
But like CA said, we control our own destiny. We got to handle the teams in front of us. And the next person on that list to try to get checked off is the Mizzou Tigers. Now, I'm going to give y'all a chance. We're going to loop back to the first episode or whatever. We was talking about the SEC. I made a comment that said that Missouri was a team that was going to finish second or third in the East. Obviously, that is way off. So, what you got on that, Cool Cal? What you think about the Missouri Tigers and them not being able to finish in second, 2 or 3?
I mean, it was a good guess, Coach. You wasn't the only one out there throwing stuff around. I said Auburn was gonna finish last in the West. We all make mistakes. We make mistakes. It's all good, man. We ain't gonna hold your feet to the fire for that. But Missouri.
Yes, we are.
Hey, Coach, I'm trying to help you out, Coach.
Hey, you're right. Hey, we wasn't the only two out there throwing stuff around. I said that I didn't respect Florida. Y'all told CA said you should respect Florida. They gonna be a rival.
Hey, and they were tough for a little while.
They were about the first minute and a half.
Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, but I mean, Missouri's a team. They got some explosive offensive players. I've seen them play a little bit this year. They can score some points. Obviously, defensively, they're one of the poor defensive teams in the league. They gave up 62 to Tennessee. 62 to Tennessee.
They were in a battle with Vandy.
I'm not going to sit up here and overanalyze this. I think this should be a game that we should go in there, handle them, get the backup some playing time, and get some more experience. Hopefully, we'll be able to see JT this week and start to get some experience under his belt. But other than that, man, I'm not looking at this game for anything more than something we should just run them over and keep it moving.
Okay. And I think shout out to Thad, man. Thad did say when I made that prediction that Mizzou might can score like Cal just alluded to, but they can't stop anybody. I don't know what's going on down there. So how you see this game kind of playing out Saturday, JV?
Just like everybody else has said, man. I think the team has done a really good job this year of measuring themselves against themselves. So the fact that they're playing Missouri, I don't think that's going to really matter much. Missouri is a team, somewhat in flux. I don't think they really have an identity. Where they used to have at least some decent defense, they absolutely have none of that now. And they might be able to score a few points, but the reality is that I think that the team is going to go in and do the same thing that they've been doing all season, no matter who the competition has been, which is play up to the standard that Kirby has set for the team. And I like it. Can't overanalyze it. Let's get the guys in there that need some additional playing time. Let's get this, keep our health, keep our main studs in the game so that we can continue this run down the main stretch. It's going to be another check in the belt loop, man. We just going to go ahead and handle business and call it a day.
With that said, JV, give me a score prediction for this weekend, man, for that Georgia-Mizzou game before I get on to the next thing.
Yeah, I think the Mizzou game, man, I think it's going to be 38-6.
All right, cool, Cal.
I'm going to go something like 49-7.
Okay.
Yeah.
CA?
Yeah, I'm a little closer to Cal. I see us we might drop that 50 burger, man. We don't have anything else to do. We deep, we good all up and down the roster. I'd say 50-13. They sneak out a couple of field goals and a touchdown.
I was thinking the same thing, CA. I was thinking Cal. I was thinking 49-14, with that last touchdown coming against the backups or whatever. But back to with that said, with something JV just said, like that Kirby got the team focused, like we've said on previous shows, that no matter who we're playing, we're measuring ourselves against ourselves. CA, what do you think is different this year than in 2017? I'm gonna tell you what, in 2017 we had some lack of focus here and there, even on the championship run. What do you think Kirby's doing different this year to keep these guys so focused like that?
I think he's using his experience, number one, because it's not his first time having to wrangle in a bunch of great athletes and keep them under wraps and make sure that they understand the task at hand. I think that's extremely important because the players know that they can rely on him for that leadership as far as knowing the landscape. He's been there before and done it before. But I also think the super seniors have a huge role to play. The fact that we got a lot of 6-year guys just floating through college football all together. The ones that we have, help to keep our younger players focused. And then when you look at the fact that a lot of guys didn't get a chance to play in front of these environments last year, I think it's a lot more cherished. I think these guys are respecting the opportunity and really taking advantage of what's in front of them. So I don't think they have that far-sighted goal. You look at NIL, you know, some of these guys are getting a couple of checks. They don't have to worry about the pressure of making it to the NFL. So I don't see a pressed team. I see a lot of guys that know they're going to play on Sunday, but enjoy playing together. And that's the most important part. They understand that this time is limited. Some of them could have left last year. A lot of their friends are in the NFL now. So they know that this is a great opportunity for them to really cement themselves, not only as, you know, the love they have for one another, but in Georgia history. So I think the combination of guys having been on campus for such a long time, understanding what it takes to be successful or the effort it's going to take. And then the fact that, you know, we've got leadership that understands how to keep his guys happy. You know, we got a lot of guys that could have entered the portal or done a lot of different things. And for Kirby to keep everything under fold, JV, you've done a great job of mentioning that all year. You know, he's done a great job of leading this team. A part of that leadership is making sure that you keep all 100 guys happy. That's tough to do when you got so many 4 and 5 stars. So my hat's off to the coaching staff and to the upperclassmen who lead this team along the way.
Okay.
Yeah, well said.
I agree with everything you just said. So shout out to K Smart, man, for keeping these dudes focused and keeping their eye on the prize. These last 4 games, with that said, should not be overly complicated to go through because he does have them so focused. So with that said, we think Missouri should be another, like JV said, check on the checklist, and then we'll move on to the next one. So, all right, on to the picks, fellas.
Hold up.
What?
All my teams fell apart on me.
Hey, man, I'm so bad. I ain't even checked.
Hey,
It was bad.
listen.
Go ahead.
We had the leader for last week was E-Rob. He was a perfect 6-0. So shout out to E-Rob for getting them all.
Shout out to E-Rob.
Yeah,
E-Rob, respect, brother, respect.
Yep. So Cool Cal, Thad, C-Rob, and me all went 4-2. JV, you went 3-3. CA, yes, you went 2-4, my brother. So he was bringing up the rear.
Just start from the bottom.
All right.
We
don't do that. Don't do that. Let's just go ahead and go with the picks.
All right. So overall, man, tied for 7th. JV and CA with 22 and 25.
We battling, baby.
Hey, man.
Y'all still in it, man.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen.
Hey, we gonna lean at the line. Who gonna lean at the line?
They're coming in hot.
What's crazy is all it takes is one of them 6-0 weeks like E-Rob, and then you can jump up in the lead. So right above y'all, C-Rob is 25 and 22. As much crap we gave him at the beginning of the season, he trying to hold that 500 record and above.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Still sucks.
Me and Cal, we 26 and 21. Right above us in second place is Thad with 27 and 20. And the new leader in the clubhouse is E-Rob because of that 6-0. He's 28 and 19. Get some of that. So, just like that, man. Somebody go 4-2 and you go 6-0. You might be either tied for first or in first, just like that.
It's my time.
Okay. Now, does anybody have the picks right in front of them so we can go through, or do we need to find?
I got them in front of me, Coach. I can read them out.
All right, let's go ahead and go through these picks.
All right, first game we got Wake Forest at UNC. UNC's getting 2.5.
Ooh. Man, Wake Forest ain't playing nobody, bro.
You don't convince us, man. Just give us the pick.
North Carolina's
getting
North Carolina's getting 2.5.
Yes, sir.
And it's at North Carolina.
I'm
gonna go with North Carolina for the upset. Wake Forest can score, but they can't stop nobody. Offensive explosion between the two of them, and North Carolina gets the win. I'm going with North Carolina. Who you going with, Cal?
I like your pick on that. I'm going with UNC too. I don't think Wake Forest has enough to go undefeated. This where they catch one.
All right, JV.
Yeah, I'm running with UNC on this one too, man. I think Wake Forest is they've had a great run, but UNC might have a little bit too much for them.
All right, CA.
Now, y'all ain't gonna trick me like that. I'm going with Carolina. I was gonna go against the grain, but it's time to pick up some pace here. Y'all tried me right there. Carolina.
All right, what's the next game on the list? What's the next game?
Hey, real quick, before you read the next game, Cal. Hey, Coach, why you cut your eye at CA like that?
Hey, man, I thought he was going to go at Wake Forest.
He knew I was going to go at Wake Forest. That's why I didn't do it. I can't gain ground right there. That's an L.
All right, what's the next game? Cool, Cal.
All right, next game we got Tennessee at Kentucky. Kentucky's getting 1.5.
Kentucky's getting 1.5. Who you got, JV?
Let me take Kentucky, man. I'm taking Kentucky on that one.
All right. CA, who you got, bro?
Kentucky broke my heart last week. I had them winning the season and winning out, but I'm gonna stick with them at home against Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's defense is gonna be a battle though. That's actually gonna be a good game, I think.
It is. Who you got, Cool Cal?
I'm riding with y'all on that. I like Kentucky in that one too. It's basically a pick 'em. I like Kentucky at home.
Okay. You're right, CA. This is an extremely important game in the East to see who's going to finish second. These are bitter rivals. They don't really like each other for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because they border.
It's the orange and blue.
I'm gonna go against the grain, man. I don't like going with that orange, man, but I think Kentucky shell shock, man. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Tennessee, man.
There we go.
I gotta shock the world and try to get 6-0 too, man.
Well, you just lost one.
Right. You 1-1 right now.
All right, what's the next game, Cal?
All right, ACC matchup. We got Clemson at Louisville. Louisville is getting 3.5.
All right, Louisville's getting 3.5 at home. CA, what you got, man?
Louisville the favorite?
No, they're getting 3.5. Clemson the favorite.
Yeah, Clemson the favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson to cover.
All right, JV.
Same here, Clemson to cover, man.
I'm gonna go with Clemson to cover that too. What about you, Cool Cal?
Clemson sucks, man. I'm gonna go with Louisville at home for the upset.
All right.
I like it.
Okay,
Spice
all right.
it up then.
Spice it up. What's the next game?
Next game, we're gonna go out there to the West Coast. We got USC at Arizona State. USC is an 8.5-point favorite.
Two trash teams.
Lee Hearn.
God, no, yeah, exactly.
Listen, guys, you play to win the game. You play to win the game. I'm going with Arizona State at home, man. Put me down for that, coach. Arizona State covers. UNC wins, but Arizona State covers.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take something that CA said 2 weeks ago. USC ain't got no coach, so I'm gonna go with ASU to cover with that 8.
Okay. I think that's a big factor. So you know who I got. You know, they busy looking down the road. They in the portal, half of them. Arizona State.
What you say, JV? You with us on that?
Yeah, man. I'm round this thing out with Arizona State. I think half of them cats already don't pick their agent. Half of them cats, well, they already rolling, but they didn't pick their agent. So yes, sir.
All right. What's our last D1 game before we get to our HBCU game?
The last one, we got Texas at Iowa State. Iowa State's a 6.5-point favorite.
Damn, that's a lot of points. Huh? I'm gonna go with Iowa State just because Sark let me down last week. Didn't cover that 3 going against Baylor when he could have. So I'm gonna go with Iowa State to cover. Who you going with, JV?
I'm with you on that one, man. Sark just disappointed me. Just took all my little heart, effort, and steam that I felt like I was going in with. I can't ride with him no more.
What about you, CA?
I'm trying to stay out of my feelings, man, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with Sark one more time. I think Texas, they're on the road. They should do better. I'm looking for the running back to just be special.
All
Give me
right.
Texas and them points.
All right, Cal.
I'm with CA on that one. I think Texas bounces back, and I think that they go to Iowa State and steal one.
I don't never know if Sark gonna be, sipping that good stuff or what he gonna be doing, man.
Hey,
He gonna be tailgating.
Hey, that's when he did his best coaching.
Call that way, though.
When he was best when he was a coach.
Hey man, it's almost like Tiger Woods, man. Get back to the, you know what? Oh,
let it
hey, man.
Hey. So what's our HBCU? Yep. What's our HBCU game of the week?
HBC game of the week is Alabama State at Prairie View A&M. That's what I said too.
C-Rob does it again.
Give me Alabama State. I'm gonna just jump out there. One time.
Right. I'm gonna go with CA because I don't know nothing. I ain't got no little hidden facts for you. So I'm gonna go with Alabama State too. Who you going with, JB?
Yeah, I'm riding with the squad from the hometown, from the home state, Alabama. Yeah, I'm gonna ride with them.
And Cal, what you doing?
I'm gonna go with Alabama State too, man.
It's in Texas.
It's in Texas.
Yeah.
My apologies.
I'm gonna go with Alabama State too, man. I don't know why.
Hey, CA, he be doing it with these HBCU games, but he don't never give us Jackson State or somebody that's actually winning a game.
Man, I ain't seen Fort Valley or anybody I recognize all year.
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself.
Shout out to Stat Dog C for keeping us on our toes with these picks, man. All right, anybody else got anything before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, man, let me just jump in real quick. I just want to shout out once again for, I can't remember how many weeks in a row now, Mr. Brock Bowers, man, being a Mackey Award finalist, freshman, All-American. Shout out to that young man for coming in and just stepping up when we really needed him and continuing to do a tremendous job.
Okay, I'm definitely down with that. And the other players that's on the semifinalists award list, N'Kobe Dean for the Buckets. And as CA said, Davey O'Brien, Stetson Bennett. Shout out to the mailman. You know what I'm saying? So
take it how it comes.
Take it how it comes.
Absolutely. So, I think Jordan Davis is up for the
Bednarik, Outland, and the Nagurski.
Yeah.
He
whatever he's eligible for, he is.
and the Heisman. JD2NY. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag. So good show, fellas, man. Until next time. All of y'all out there in YouTube land, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Give us your take on the CFP, the Florida game, Stetson, JT, the Dogs going forward, everything. For my boy CA, Cool Cal, JV, our homies missing in action, Shawty Parker, C-Rob, and E-Rob. Coach I, and I'm out. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!